Today on DNVR Buffs Live, a very important day in the DNVR Buffs sphere. Decisions that are made today will stick with you for at least the next 365 days. It's round one of the My Guys draft coming to you very soon. Let's go. Let's go.
Squad. Coming to you live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores, is DNVR Buffs Live. A lot to talk about today. Coach Flea got a new job, some notable portal entries. Alvin Kamara is just at practice yesterday.
Cooling it.
Yeah, just dropping that on the on the timeline. That's crazy. It is a big day. We're going to draft my guys. But first...
Maybe the biggest day.
It's very important. First one with Scotty,
Yeah.
too, right?
I'm excited, man.
Yeah, are you ready?
Nah.
Did you do your scouting? Did you consult with the rest of your team?
Yeah. The committee met last night.
Right,
The committee's back.
The committee met last night.
Let's go.
The
Welcome
committee
back
met
to the
last night, and
committee.
we feel pretty good about what we're gonna do here today.
Wow. Can't wait. But we start today with a roster update.
You guys have no idea how important this was to Jake.
I've been waiting on this for so long.
Facts.
Will you star Chase's comment?
I've just wanted to know who's who on Well Off. That's all I've wanted to know.
Yeah, no. Jake's talked about this every day for like the last 2 months.
It is important though. Like you said, we're 10 practices through spring ball, and we finally get a roster, an updated roster. So we're appreciative, but it's about damn time.
Yeah, it's funny. I joke about it, but a lot of information trickled out of it.
Sure did.
No joke. It always does, though, too.
Yep.
Facts.
Yeah, we'll get into it. The good, the bad. Which one do we start with?
We'll start with the good.
The good. It's just an impressive roster. I went through and because Scotty tweeted out like Jordan Seaton's weight and stuff, right? Which he's up to
330.
And
330.
Look, these things are always kind of inflated. Like the school roster, like they'll always add an extra 10, 15 pounds, whatever it is. I think Jordan might be 330 pounds.
He was listed at 285. To your point about typically that's inflated.
Yeah.
He was listed at 285 on the roster all last year. And
Yeah.
he was probably playing bigger than that, but that was probably around where at least he came to Colorado at. And
Exactly.
him now being listed at 330 looks and sounds about right for Jordan Seaton.
He is such a specimen.
Yeah, he is.
Like he walked into pro day, he's got the big chain on and everything, and it's just like you could just like scan across the room. You cannot miss Jordan Seaton.
Nah.
And if you had lined up every player and not told the scouts who they were or whatever and said which one of these guys is going in the top 5 of the draft, there's a very good chance they might have pointed to Jordan Seaton.
Easily.
Like that's where he's at now, and that 330-pound weight is like vintage first round draft pick tackle weight.
100%.
Yep. So that tweet inspired me to look at the roster because I was just curious.
That warms my heart. Me being an inspiration.
Come on.
My dog.
Come on.
You inspired Draylon Miller to hit your DMs.
No, for real. Facts.
But you inspired me to look at the roster and look at how many players are at 300 pounds or more. And then I went back the last 2 years to see how this has like grown and progressed.
Yeah.
And I truly think you can see how the roster is getting better just from this stat. In 2023, Coach Prime and the Buffs had 10 players listed at 300 pounds or higher. And they needed all of them. All of them played. Last year, they had 15. And honestly, not a lot of them played. A lot of offensive linemen who just didn't see the field. This year, though, there's 21.
21.
That number just always keeps showing up. It's crazy.
21.
Reef, you got to chill.
I do really believe that it's a sign of what they've done to the roster. Now, I kind of wish you would have gone back to 2022 as well.
I can real quick.
It's the team just keeps getting bigger and stronger and faster and tougher and all of those things. And I was on a radio show today, and they were just asking me about, like, what's Colorado going to be moving forward? And I just pointed to the fact that, like, the aggregate roster is better than it's ever been.
No doubt.
And that is, like, one little thing you can look at. Like, no one can say they look small anymore.
You can say that about the trenches, or I guess you can't say that about the trenches anymore, them looking small. You can say the same thing about some of these other guys on the perimeter who obviously I tweeted about earlier. In addition to Jordan Seaton, Draylen Miller, who you just alluded to, slid in my DMs earlier. He was listed on this updated roster. Draylen Miller was at 220 pounds, which like was eye-popping to me. But like as we were talking about before the show, seeing him on Friday, it's like, that kind of checks out.
He could weigh that much if he wanted to.
He could, and could still be, very slippery in and out of, breaks and whatnot, and, still a demon with the ball in his hand. So Draylen DM'd me when he saw that and was like, hey, can you update that? I'm 203 pounds. And I'm like, I got you, bro. So Draylen tells me today he's 203 pounds, which is still, a pretty big jump for where he was at least listed at last year. He was listed at 195 pounds last year. We talked a lot about Draylen yesterday. He's in for a big 2025 season. The same can be said for Marion Miller, who's listed now at 210 pounds. He was listed at 195 last year. So 15 pounds of bulk and mostly muscle, I would assume. So those are a couple guys. Chauncey Gooden, Jay Gardenhire, both being listed at 380 pounds. Jay Gardenhire standing at 6'7", 380 pounds is insane. And, Chauncey Gooden, at 6'5", damn near, 380. He is going to be a problem. Maybe not this year, maybe not right away, but he is going to be a problem for opposing opponents, moving forward on the trenches. Smitty Carter-Smith, 6'5", 300. We love to see that. And the quarterbacks, Caden Salter and Julian Lewis, both listed exactly at 6'1", 190 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. Interesting, right?
Yeah. I got to see them stand back to back. Do you think that it was just like the standard roster weight inflation on Draylen, and
Yes.
he just didn't know?
Yes.
220 is a lot.
I feel like maybe because he said 203, maybe they had him at 202 and they put 220 instead. You know what I'm saying? That's maybe my theory.
Is there any numbers that aren't rounded on this?
Probably not.
That's a good question. You got it up, Ray. I don't know.
Looking through it.
No.
I feel like it's a lot of
they're all
zeros and
rounded,
fives. Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
So I don't know what that was about.
So in 2022, there were 12. All these guys hit the portal, though. Every single one of them.
Except for Tank.
Well, yeah, Tank eventually hit the portal, but
True.
yes. And there's only, in the 2022 team, of those 12 guys, only 3 of them were defensive linemen.
Chauncey Gooden being 380 is a little bit shocking to me. And the reason I say that is because he doesn't look overweight to me.
It's true.
When I see him.
I agree.
Like, it's not like he's holding on to like a bunch of high school weight, in my opinion, when I see him in uniform. So if that's a true 380, that is a boulder of a human.
Yep.
Yeah, well said.
Any other standouts from this roster before we get to the bad here?
I thought there was, hold on, one more. Somebody pointed out to me, and now my thing isn't loading. But, oh, yeah, our guy Matt H. Brandon Davis Swain, up to 290 from 260. Whew. A guy who was pretty highly touted coming, out of high school, out of Michigan. I believe he was a 4-star guy on the defensive line. He obviously hasn't, cracked the rotation just yet, but he's obviously a talented player, and I think that coaching staff believes in him. So Don't be surprised if, BDS kind of cracks, the rotation here soon enough.
To the bad, players who are not listed on this include Isaiah Gustav, Keaton Wade, Sam Hart, and who else am I? Savion Riley. Portal's not open yet, but they seems no longer with the team. Usually when you're not on the roster, that's a pretty good indicator that you're not going to be on the team.
And the portal opens a week from today.
Yep.
It is interesting to me though with the portal not being open, and maybe it's just one of those things where that's already a foregone conclusion, so they're like, might as well. But I don't know. It's just different than I remember it, at least.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I remember the only time this ever really happened again was in like 2022 during like middle of the season that someone was taken off the roster. But usually under the Coach Prime era, we don't get many roster updates in the Coach Prime era. But two, we've learned some things like that. We've learned of new players from these roster updates before too. So
I think obviously a lot of people are kind of freaking out about Isaiah Gustav hitting the portal. Obviously, most likely because he led the team in rushing, last year. He was a productive player after transferring in from Arkansas. And obviously, Coach Prime and the rest of the offensive staff has talked about how much the running game is going to be an emphasis offensively this year. But I just think it speaks well on potentially our guy who we had as a projected starter at running back, Michael Welch, right?
Yep.
And I'll say again, something I said a couple weeks ago, Pastor has never lied to us. Pastor is yet to lie to us. And he has been telling us about Brandon Hood for some time now.
He has, and he's been getting a lot of work.
And he's been getting a lot of work. And I assume, obviously, with Isaiah Gustav, exiting that room, that will continue for Brandon Hood. And obviously, you still got Dallin Hayden and, Charlie Offedal in the room as well. So I expect them to target running back out of the transfer portal this spring when it opens next week, targeting at least one, maybe two guys. But when I think about Isaiah Gustav, when you leave a situation like Colorado where your head coach is Dion coach Prime Sanders and your running back coach is Marshall Falk, two Go Jackets, it makes me think that, the money.
Maybe.
The money, potentially. Because why would you leave a situation like that? And it's especially when, like I said earlier, this coaching staff has made it very clear that we're going to run a football this year. That's going to be an emphasis for us. And especially with Isaiah coming off a season where he obviously led, the team in rushing, safe to assume he was probably in for a big role. But he obviously has decided to seek opportunities elsewhere. So
at one point, I can't remember, we had a running back discussion. Maybe it was the spring preview. And I think I asked you guys the question, like, would you consider any of the running backs to be a sure thing or something along those lines? And we all said just one, and it was Micah.
Yeah.
And that was actually, I can't remember the timeline of any of this stuff, but I think it was before Marshall Falk.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Marshall
if it
Falk
was
was Super Bowl.
If it was spring previews, it was definitely after Marshall Falk.
Okay. My worry always with Isaiah moving forward with this team was just his struggles catching the football.
Yeah.
Who's not a natural pass catcher coming out of the backfield. Now, I don't know if Marshall Falk wants all of his players to play like he did, but as arguably the best pass catching running back ever, it worried me just with that was an area that Isaiah struggled. And so I think that there's a potential for Colorado to go into the portal and find a running back who can take on that share of the room and be a slightly better fit for what they want to do.
And because you don't need much.
And I say all that really trying not to talk down on Isaiah, just speaking honestly about his strengths and weaknesses.
Sure. But you don't need much. You need 40, 45 receptions out of the backfield, and that's a really good season.
So that's probably more on the high end. But
for sure, yeah. Going back to what you said, Scotty, though, these agents out there right now, no one is safe from them. Even Coach Prime in Colorado, no one is safe from these agents going out and trying to seek a deal for their player.
Facts.
Almost sometimes behind these players' backs. How it works out is the agent will go out there on their own, kind of shop the player.
Yes.
say, what would you give to if so-and-so entered the portal? And then they'd take that offer, go to another school. This school would offer this to this player. What would you offer?
100%.
They build up these offers. Eventually, the number becomes so big that the player just looks at it and goes, all right, deuces.
It's funny that this just happened because I was going to say there's always a chance that there could have been a mistake. Mm-hmm. Keaton Wade is now on the roster.
Is he really?
Yes. At least the roster I'm looking at.
Let me see. Someone asked about where the roster is. It's just on the school website, cubuffs.com.
2025 roster.
He was 24, right?
27.
27. See, he's not on this that I'm on. Maybe I bet if I refresh it though.
Yeah.
What happened?
Weird.
When I noticed it, I switched from sorting by number to sorting by name. And that's when I found it.
Okay. Let me see.
Well,
that's interesting. I mean, obviously Keaton has been battling injuries this spring.
Since he got to Colorado.
And pretty much since he got to Colorado. So that is that's something, and obviously his brother already hit the portal, correct?
Right. Destin, yeah.
So I mean, obviously he was Keaton. Okay, yeah, I see it now. Now he's on the roster with a refresh. So who knows? Obviously he was productive when he was out there. And obviously Robert Livingston talked about the fact that he can kind of be used as a chess piece, like an off the ball linebacker, obviously in a true edge position as well. So it would be dope if Keaton is still on this roster,
which it looks
like he is.
Yes. That was not my fault. I saw multiple tweets that mentioned it this morning when the roster came out. So it's funny that it happened. It must have changed in the last few minutes.
No, for real.
I wonder what happened in the last few minutes. But,
I don't know. You said it.
Yes.
Oh man.
All right, let's take our first break. Shout out to the homies over at UC Health. We're all doing our best here to get in pretty much the best shape we can. It's the off season for everyone, right? What do you do during the off season? You get in the lab, bro. Got to grind it out. Just try to become a better you. DNVR Buffs is brought to you by UC Health. It's the official healthcare partner of the Colorado Buffaloes. Learn more about living like theirs of tomorrow. Go to uchealth.org for more info. UC Health. Live extraordinary.
And shout out to the squad at Empire today, man, who took care of our floor up here at the DNVR bar, the DNVR studio. It's been how many years since it's been in now? Our floor here from Empire today?
I don't know, 18 months-ish, a while.
Right, under 2 years, and it still looks spotless, flawless, because that's just what Empire today does. Just like your favorite team needs a home court advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage, and Empire today can help you get that. Empire today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. Why is Empire Today your best bet for a new floor? Well, that's because Empire Today lives and breathes flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ball game at Empire. With Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing, plus you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. DNVR listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DNVR. Yes, you heard that right. $350 discount with code DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit Empire Today /DNVR for full details.
What are you guys looking at me for?
Shelly, the roster is about as expert a source as you can get on the team, honestly.
Well, yes. I think it's understandable that there could be a bug in the first release of the roster, but obviously we always want to be right about everything.
Right.
That's something that we would expect to be able to trust.
For sure.
But it's also understandable that there could be a mistake.
Real quick, just wrapping up the Augusta thing. This is now the second season in a row. The leading rusher from last year is not on the team. Obviously, with Marshall Faulk coming in, I mean, an emphasis on the run game for sure, but I'm almost positive there's going to be an emphasis on recruiting that position a lot better in the future too, because you just can't keep this up, honestly. So
nope.
Anything else on the roster update?
I don't think so.
I got one.
Okay.
I was looking through it today. preparing for the My Guys draft, meeting with my committee. And it's just really impressive how many guys I came across that I was like, ooh, I would take it. Ooh, I would take him. Ooh,
Yeah,
I would
no
take
doubt.
him. You know, I feel like the first year we did this, it was like a mad dash to get a couple guys.
Yeah.
Last year, I think there was more. This year, I'm just like, man, the whole roster feels like eligible for this.
We're going to leave some very deserving individuals off our list.
Which is why we always do a
unfortunately.
second one
Yeah.
in the summer.
All right, we're doing 4 rounds. My guys draft. Basically, just the guys that we're putting our stamp on. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Everybody's eligible, available
Yes.
for this?
Quarterbacks, freshmen. We're going everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
Bet. Say less.
And you know, just make sure that if someone is someone else's guy, you don't say like, oh, that's my guy. Because it's not.
No. You take
Fair
ownership
enough.
right now. It's like the NFL draft, right? Another team can't come and say, "Oh, that's my player."
Yeah, it's my guy.
What's up with this order? Who decided this?
I don't know who did decide it.
Well, it's on the template, so you guys flip a coin, thumb wrestle each other. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Alyssa just said, freak me. Put me dead last. Sorry, I don't care. I'm not tripping. I'm just talking mess.
Do I start it off then?
I'll go first if y'all want me to.
Well, that
Backwards, it doesn't matter.
it would make sense to either go. I have no case for number one.
Facts. Rock, paper, scissors real quick.
All right.
1 or 3?
What?
Best of 1 or 3?
Oh no, just one.
Shoot or no?
Shoot.
Bet. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Let's go.
All right, Scotty's first. Then it's RK. Then it's me. Snake style, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the end of the draft gets 2 picks. So I'll get 2 picks this time. Scotty will get it next time, so on and so forth. Scotty, who are you taking with your first pick in the My Guys draft?
Well, my first pick in the My Guys draft, I'm taking the best player on the Colorado football team. And that's Jordan Seaton, a future top 10 first-round draft pick, a future All-American, a freshman All-American this past year, one of the best offensive tackles, one of the best left tackles of college football. It's Jordan Seaton, the newly 330-pound Jordan Seaton.
Love it. Which leaves me with number 2. And I'm going to take this guy because I said in our 25 predictions for 2025 that this guy will be a superstar by the end of the season.
You did.
That's Omarion Miller.
I'm just gonna pick Caden then.
Okay. And then it's back to me.
No, it's back to me. I get a
Oh,
Pick both quarterbacks, bro.
No. I think I did that.
would
in something
be-
we
you
did. I won't do it again. I'm picking DJ McKinney.
Nice.
That's a good pick.
I'll take the starting quarterback, and then I'll take the best defensive back playing for Dion Coach Prime Sanders. Thank you very much.
I like that.
Now it's back to me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is back to you.
I will take Juju Lewis, which adds up. That's my guy.
Been your guy for a minute.
Yep. And still my pick to eventually be QB1.
All right.
I'm going to go with a guy that we've talked about a lot this week. He's going to be rocking jersey number 1 this year for the Colorado Buffaloes. It's Draylen Miller. Give me uno for my second round pick.
We might need to expand a little bit more after our picks so that Alyssa
Yeah.
can keep up.
That's what I'm trying. I'm just trying to like say, maybe give it a little background, give it some time. All right,
Draylen.
Draylen Miller.
There's a roster update.
Yeah, with the rest of the apostrophe is back.
Yes.
Actually?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Apostrophe gate. It
Which-
never ends.
It was always on his Twitter, wasn't it?
Something like that. Like it was like every recruiting service had it, but his Twitter didn't, or like the
Yeah.
opposite way. Something I can't remember, but yeah. No, just keep
No,
it.
you're
You're
good.
good. You're
You're
good.
good.
You're good. Just keep it.
So with my first 2 picks, I got 2 offensive players.
Yep.
It's not on his Twitter.
I need a defensive player, obviously. I'm going to go with a guy who I believe is going to lead the Colorado Buffaloes in sacks here in 2025. a senior, somebody whose family members pops played
Yep.
for the Colorado Buffaloes back in the day. That's Arden Walker,
Great pick.
the second highest ranked edge player in the Big 12 last season, according to Pro Football Focus. 4.5 sacks. I think he doubles that total here in 2025. I got Arden Walker round 3.
I love it. And I love that this guy is falling to me in the 3rd round because it's debatable, and that's a good thing for us. But Jake said I'll take the best corner playing for Deion Coach Prime Sanders.
Very debatable.
And I might debate that and take
Yeah.
this guy, Colton Hood.
Yeah.
And either one is a win for me, but I have the utmost faith in Colton Hood. So I will take him
He's a
right
dog.
here.
I like that pick.
All right. I'm thinking about taking a shot here on a guy.
You're just saving for round. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. You back to back.
I need more rounds.
Look, bro. I was gonna suggest we at least do 5, but
Well, I think we
I
had done
get it.
5 in the past, but it was only 2 of us. So I was like, oh, doing 4, we're going to get through more players. We still got to, we can
Honorable
add to
mentions?
yeah.
for sure.
Well, we can add, too, to the list later.
We can. I'm just gonna do it. Cam Silman Craig was so big for the defense last year. I'm gonna take Tawfiq Bayard.
When you said you were going to, like, roll the dice, or whatever you said, I didn't think you were going here. I feel like that's a solid pick.
It is. It's just we obviously haven't seen too. We haven't talked to him. There's a lot of unknown, at least for us right now, when it comes to Tawfiq. So, a lot of expectations. He hasn't shied away from those at all. If you look at the tape from last year at USF, the guy can do it all. And physically, he's even a better prospect than Cam was when he came here 2 years ago to Colorado. So,
Yeah.
I think he's got a higher ceiling than what Cam had, and obviously, what Cam meant to the defense was he was invaluable to this defense over the last 2 years. So, give me Tawfiq Bayard. My next player. Oh man. Okay, there's like a guy I want to take, but I feel like I end up with him every time we do something like this.
Someone asked, is there keeper picks from last year, which we probably should have done to make sure that there was not as much overlap.
You taking Micah here?
No, I was going to take Jaheim Otis here.
Oh, yeah. Do that.
I feel like I've been the Jaheim Otis guy this offseason, so I'll just keep being that guy because I think he can truly be the best player on this defense. And if you're going to let that fall to me in round 4 after I already got 2 good players in the secondary, I'm all about it. So
That's who I was going to close my draft with, so I got to go back to the board.
I'm torn right now.
I'm going to look for our old My Guys drafts too.
Do I go with the player that has been more my guy? Or do I go BPA here?
I don't know, bro. This is my guy draft, bro.
I know. That's the thing. It's like, but I think I might be able to get my guy in the summer draft. So with that being said, I'm going to take a guy that I think still could go off the board here if I don't take him from you right now. And I'll take Joseph Williams.
It's a great pick. It's a great pick.
He's had a hell of a week, it seems.
Oh, yeah.
How you wrapping it up here, Scotty?
I'm honestly not sure at the moment. I'm not going to lie. I definitely know I want to go defense. And like I said, I was really banking on Jaheim Otis being there for me. In round 4.
The committee's in shambles right now. We're scrambling.
But
I actually, wow. I was going to give you suggestions, but I don't have one that fits your criteria.
I know, right?
Well, what do you think? We can go through your process here. You're the last pick.
Like I said, I'm going to.
You've hit the trenches pretty hard.
Oh, I got your pick. You want to hear it?
Sure.
Preston Hodge.
That's what I was thinking. And I was also thinking of RJ Johnson, who's on the screen as well. But obviously, Preston Hodge has the
Known commodity.
known commodity, right?
Another sneaky one would be Micah, I think.
Right.
Especially
He wants a defensive guy.
He only has. Well, I
It's
guess
2 and 2.
yeah.
It would be 2 and 2. I'm gonna go with Preston Hodge, man. He plays arguably the most important position on the entire team. That slot corner, that nickel corner. Having the lock up slots. A lot of the opponent's best route runners That's Preston Hodges' assignment a lot of the times. And again, we didn't expect to get him back this year. We thought he was, going for the pros or whatnot, but obviously the JUCO rule allowed him an extra year. So I'm going to round out my list here, my guys draft with Preston Hodge, and I feel pretty good about that.
It's a great pick. He was right there for me since I already had a corner. I didn't care about the offense-defense balance here.
Yeah.
I'm an offensive guy. What can I say?
Yeah, I went with 3 defensive players. That wasn't intentional at all. It's just how it happened. So.
Even my defensive player might have the ball in his hands and some returns.
Yeah, that's true.
Amari McNeil would definitely be my first honorable mention. It's a good shout-out, Jalen Green. I'm honestly shocked because that's typically my guy, Amari McNeil.
Let's get to honorable mentions, and we'll talk about previous My Guys drafts on the other side of this break. Big shout out to our friends over at Sleeper. Welcome back to the show. Let's go, man. Sleeper, I mean, I don't know if I can say enough or not say just countless good things about them. It's the best fantasy football app out there. They got Sleeper picks now. Check if you're in an eligible state to get in. You can pick more or less on a bunch of players, especially with the playoffs coming on right now. Basketball, NHL stuff's going to be big on there. And then get ready for football season, of course, as we move through the summer here. But it's literally the best fantasy football app out there, most customizable. You're a commish, right, Scotty?
Sure am.
You use Sleeper?
Absolutely.
I mean, how many options do you have? Hundreds, thousands, millions?
Unlimited, bro.
Unlimited. If you think you have what it takes, new users can download the Sleeper app and use the code BUFFS, BUFFS, to get $55 in free entries when you place a $5 contest. Apply it to any contest. Doesn't have to be your first. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Lucy. Masters Week. What a time for
need it.
a Lucy and a Coors Light. Perfect match, or whatever your drink of choice is, or just have a Lucy on its own because they are a fantastic nicotine pouch. And in my opinion, it's not even close with their competitors when it comes to their flavor. Their flavors are way better. Some of the other nicotine pouch flavors have almost like a chemically undertone to it.
Yuck.
Lucy doesn't have that at all. 100% pure nicotine, always tobacco free. And they also have the Lucy Breakers, which have a little burst of flavor if you want, midway through your experience. So hit up our friends over at Lucy. Go to lucy.co/DNVR. Use promo code DNVR to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Again, that's lucy.co. Use code DNVR for 20% off. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine, and nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Okay, so the first My Guys draft in January of 2023. I think I clearly won this. Not going to lie.
We did this last year, and I remember that you won it.
Do we need to do the names?
I want to hear him.
Yeah, I mean, people got to hear.
So RK's team was Shador. This is, everyone's showing
sure.
up. Shador, Cormani, Jordan Dominic, Shiloh, and Shane Cokes. Honestly, not that bad.
Not that bad. That's a legit team. It's one glaring miss.
I had Travis, Dylan Edwards, Jimmy Horn Jr., and then Tyler Brown, and then Taylor Upshaw, who left the team immediately.
Okay,
basically.
so hold on a minute here.
Yeah, that sounds almost like a 3 versus 3, like a 3-3. Like, I don't know. That wasn't like an overrun like you kind of portrayed it to be.
Tyler Brown doesn't really count. He didn't play that year.
Well, okay.
Yeah, doesn't that work
so
against
you have 2 guys who didn't play that year and a guy who transferred right after.
I'm not going to lie. I've never heard that last guy before. I'm not going to go check it.
He had a moment, actually.
There's a whole saga.
He had a moment.
Don't know that, man.
So January of 2024, I then took Dylan Edwards' first pick. I had Preston Hodge, Quincy Wiggins, Cormani, Chidozie. You took Shiloh, Will Shepard, Cam, Sam Okunlola, and LeJohn Tate with the last pick.
Okay,
what a steal.
You won that one for sure.
That's all I could find on the Twitter. But snubs, honorable mentions, I guess.
From this year.
Yes.
Somebody threw Isaiah Harge's name in there, and he absolutely is a snub. I mean, again, my ears perked up when I heard Coach J. Phil say that he believes that Isaiah Harge can supplant some of the production left behind from LeJohntay Wester and Jimmy Horn Jr. And we know how effective specifically LeJohntay was in the intermediate parts of the football field. I can see Isaiah doing a lot of those things and being really effective. So that's probably the first one, aside from Amari McNeil, in terms of honorable mentions that come to my mind.
Cam Michael.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's really been trending up. Obviously, not his fault last year. He got hurt. And I think he's just going to be a massive piece of this offense.
Definitely.
Mine was Quentin Gibson.
Yeah.
Any of the three freshman receivers,
Really.
honestly.
Really.
Yeah, I mean the receivers. My board was stacked with receivers. There's just so many exciting ones on the team.
How about another pass catcher? Somebody we saw making a nice little snag from Julian Lewis yesterday at practice. Zach Gatkins at tight end.
Yeah.
What a throw too.
What a throw! What a catch! What a celebration! But yeah, if
Be careful
Zach
with that one now.
for real, if Zach Atkins is who us three up here believe he can be this year, he's going to be one of the most important players on the team, especially obviously on offense. So it was really nice to see. Like when I saw that highlight yesterday, I was like, "Thank you! I needed a tight end highlight so bad.
Yes.
I needed some. I'm glad they delivered.
Tajay McCoy.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
He's going to be a problem this
Hell
year.
yeah!
On that same note, Jeremiah Brown, too.
Yep.
Sure.
I think this might finally be his year.
Yeah. RJ Johnson, who I briefly mentioned earlier, who I was
Sure.
considering for my 4th round pick. He is going to play a role on special teams and in that secondary for sure. Watch out for him.
Buck Buchanan?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have a lot of opportunities there. He had, what,
Yeah.
70-some touchbacks last year?
Yeah.
91%.
I stood next to Mate 2.0 New Mate.
Yeah.
Anyway,
At Pro Day for a minute.
Yeah, did you talk to him?
No, I was mostly talking to Mata, but you know, he was kind of in the.
We
the
saw
mix.
Mate yesterday.
we did. Said he was getting his boy right.
Yep.
Getting new mate right.
Yep.
Where did you see him? Oh, in Boulder.
Yeah, at practice. He was hanging out. Other snubs, Zy Chrysler. We're going to talk to him tomorrow.
Chrysler.
He's on the podium for a reason.
Exactly.
Coach Prime does not put just random players on the podium. Never does.
Especially new players.
Yes, 100%.
Facts.
Sammy Sachs.
My 2 freshmen on that D line.
Yep, sure.
London Merritt, Alexander McPherson.
Yeah.
They are going to play as freshmen, and they are going to be impactful as freshmen.
Yeah, I was kind of holding freshmen back a little bit, other than Juju. Juju, the committee made an exception for.
Makes sense.
Hell yeah.
All right, there's first My Guys draft of 2025.
Huge.
Let us know who won, y'all.
It really shouldn't be a win or lose type of thing. It's your guys.
I ain't trying to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like picking like doing draft grades like the day after the draft. It's
Fair
like,
enough.
You can do it, but it doesn't really matter.
I hear you. I hear
Yeah,
you.
no, we'll see who people like. The fact that you don't have a quarterback,
That might hurt you.
It's
yeah.
no, it
me.
helps you. It
It's
helps
me,
you
bro.
a lot.
I am the quarterback of my team.
It helps you because you don't lose. You know, by having a quarterback,
100%.
if someone prefers the other quarterback, then you lose their vote.
That is true. That was talked about by the committee last night. That was part of the process.
Mentioned at the start of the show, Alvin Kamara just shows up at practice yesterday.
Yeah.
If you're a running back in the portal and you see that Marshall Faulk is your coach, and then Alvin Kamara just shows up,
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I did.
Definitely.
Did you hear potentially the reason why he was there?
No.
I heard, I don't know if this is true. It would probably just take a quick Google search, but somebody said that Swayze is like his guy, like his like personal, strength and conditioning coach.
Oh, wait, I do think I remember hearing this.
Yeah, so apparently that's,
Didn't he tweet about it?
Something like he's the one who like helped do the balance drills with Kamara or something like that, I think.
Okay.
they definitely
that
have some
him?
type of connection. I don't know about that, but they definitely have some type of connection. So I think that was at least part of the reason Alvin Kamara was there, and obviously just to enjoy the show that is the Colorado Buffaloes in Boulder right now.
Also, just coincidental, the day that the Shador Saints top 30 visit comes out, Kamara's hanging out with
true.
Coach Prime at practice.
Can I have a confession.
Okay.
Let's hear it, man.
When this stuff first started, cool people showing up at practice, I was like, I'm never gonna let this become normal for me. Kind of became normal for me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stop myself from feeling that way, but I wasn't like, oh my God, Kamara's at practice? Like, that's sick.
Right.
I was just like, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, and, like the school just drops it like 4 o'clock, and everyone's like, yeah,
Yeah.
like I'll like it. Like, nice tweet.
But that was what, 2 days after Chan Bailey was at practice?
Yep.
Right? It's crazy.
It's insane.
We can't let it get normal, bro.
I know.
We can't.
I'm trying to fight my own personal feelings.
With that, Shador's taking a top 30 to the Raiders today, I think.
Raiders.
Jordan Schultz reported that.
All right.
Full circle?
I don't know.
See, that's where it started, right? That's where all the Shador
Literally.
draft rumors started. Gotta be Las Vegas.
I made some noise in the city of Cleveland today.
Tell us about it, please.
Because I hopped on a couple different shows, and man, first of all, I just have to say, these poor Cleveland fans, man, they are so battered.
Yeah,
Just-
man. Scarred.
Yes. Like I was asked about, this was asked me, explain the fight song controversy. And I was like, what's the fight song controversy?
Wait, from week 1?
Yes. And
Bro.
they were like, they were like, well, I was talking to someone and they brought this up and we dealt with Johnny Manziel, so like this, that. And I was like, first of all, there's no comparison between Johnny Manziel and Shador Sanders.
Oh my
But I was just like,
God.
man, you guys really have just like been through it and you're just so scarred. So I felt for them in that regard. But the first question to me was, is Cleveland making a mistake if they don't draft Shador Sanders at number 2? And I said that would be a massive mistake.
Probably.
Absolutely, bro.
And that quote is now making the rounds.
Oh, good. Good.
But I truly believe it, and I think that any team, that's what I told them. I said I think the Titans will look back on it as a mistake if they don't draft Shador Sanders.
Absolutely.
So it was just fun to kind of go in there and talk to people. The other show I did,
One thing on that quickly.
Yeah.
Me and Jake were talking about as we were leaving the show yesterday. Obviously, with the news coming out of Shador taking a visit to the Steelers, if you're Cleveland, you cannot allow Shador Sanders to go to your division rival. You
Facts.
can't let that happen.
Also, if this is how the draft shakes up and Shador falls to 20, Broncos pick at 20. So Cleveland better pay up.
I don't want to trade down.
Neither do I,
Ooh.
but
Sean Payton's never done it
really,
in any round.
let's go. Let's go, Sean.
And so the other conversation I had, I forget how it came up, but I told them the story, which this story actually happened twice in 2 different ways, of just us being at the Super Bowl and seeing Shador and him going out of his way to make sure he had time for us, despite the fact that he's dealing with like an agency who has all of these things planned for him.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's going on the biggest shows on the biggest stages, and he comes inside the ropes to the normie media for one show. And that was us. And I explained to them that like, he's like, no, you guys cover the team. In his words, you're from the city.
Yeah.
I have to make time for you. And it was just, they were like blown away by that because it just goes so staunchly against all of the stereotypes that are out there about Shador and all of the, you know, bullshit, for lack of a better term. And they were just like, man, that makes me feel so much better about him. Not just, you know, putting football aside, but just as a person, a leader, someone who gets it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, I mean, it was nice to kind of be able to like go share like real stuff. You know, my football opinions could be irrelevant to them, and that's
Sure.
fine. But like that stuff, that's real.
Yeah.
That's not an opinion. That's a thing that happened. And having the luxury that we've had of getting to actually know Shador Sanders, it was just nice to be able to go share some real stuff about him.
Sure. That's another thing that's like, we can't let that become normal in a way too. Like the relationship between Shador and us, like, you know, the love, the true, like actual, like respect and just like admiration for each other's craft, I think. And it just makes it so much more frustrating for me when I see all this nonsense and, like you said, bullshit on Twitter. Cause it's just like, if you actually took the time to like learn about the guy, like just actually watch his interviews, listen to the man, like it's like Coach Prime. I mean, the connotation about him is completely different than what's reality about him.
It makes me think about when I posted the behind the scenes footage of Shedeur when we got the Super Bowl after he was on our show, and he shook the hands of everybody on our production staff when he obviously didn't have to do that.
And again, he was being rushed at the time.
Yes, and
we got to get to the next thing. No,
and there were 4 or 5 comments under that post like, "Why do you guys have to try so hard to show us that Shedeur is like a good person?"
Yeah.
It's because there's a bunch of clowns out there who, promote these bullshit narratives. And me, as somebody who has been able to spend time around Shedeur and get to know him, I'm going to use my platform to dispel all that foolishness and put the truth out there. So
Facts.
That's just what it is. And Shedeur don't care. He's used to this. The Sanders family don't care. They're used to this. But we're going to use our little, our platform to speak the truth.
It feels like you're yelling into the void sometimes about this stuff, but people do listen. I think it's important to know that.
For sure. And the one other thing that I want to talk about is one of the shows asked me, what if Cleveland was able to get Travis and Shedeur? And I just said that would immediately turn around the franchise.
Yeah.
And I believe that so wholeheartedly. Like, you just fixed the Cleveland Browns. Something that hasn't maybe ever been said.
Yeah.
You if you were able to pull off that, and as I said to them, like a month ago, that would have been completely unrealistic. Mm-hmm. Who knows if it's just the groupthink of the draft and all of that. That's now, moving Shedeur down the board, even though he's not moving. But with things like the Steelers name coming up into this, that really makes it a possibility. I mean, the Cleveland Browns could absolutely trade back to 10 or maybe even a little higher than that by giving up some future capital. If you do that, like, welcome back, Cleveland.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I agree with everything you said. I think if the Cleveland Browns just select Shedeur Sanders at number 2 overall, I think they turn around the franchise. That's how I feel about it.
I agree too, and that's why I said it would be a massive mistake to pass on him.
It would.
Cleveland makes a lot of mistakes.
It's true, and the other thing I said is, like, if you're just trying to do the safest possible thing, like you just draft Travis Hunter.
Sure.
If you're worried that you're trying to hold on to your job, and the only way you can keep it is if you find a instant superstar, you've got Travis Hunter sitting right there for you.
Facts.
If I were them, I would be trying to fix the problem that has plagued the franchise for decades now.
Yeah, exactly.
And in my opinion, you have the opportunity to likely get who I believe is the best quarterback in the draft.
Same.
At the 2nd overall pick. And like you said, turn around the franchise.
Period.
A couple more things. Shout out to Coach Flea.
Hell yeah.
He has accepted a role on Wyoming's coaching staff. I think he's coaching running backs.
Love to see
that.
it.
So September 20th.
See him soon.
The Wyoming Cowboys come to town. That'll be fun.
Interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Yep.
See him soon.
A couple more things before we get to the Toyota chat. Just some portal stuff. Players are starting to get in or declare their intent to enter at least. And 2 Buffs players took to Twitter today to
yeah, they did.
Put their recruiting hat on. It's player recruiting season. Do you think we get any freakouts this spring portal about players recruiting like we did last year? Remember that?
Because Shedeur not doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Shiloh.
Funny how that works, huh?
It's going to be weird. I think that hit piece production is going to go down like 85%.
Dramatically. Yeah. Dramatically. Okay. Ja'Kai Lang is a defensive end who last played at Missouri. Arden Walker tweeted about him, basically said it was time to be teammates again. Ja'Kai Lang was a 2023 3-star player out of Troy, Missouri. Redshirted in 2023, last year in his redshirt freshman season. Played in all 12 games, 13 total tackles, 3 TFLs, 3 sacks. Honestly, kind of reminds me of like Arden's production coming out of Mizzou. Was a young player when he left. I think only his redshirt freshman season when he left Mizzou to enter the portal. And then it wasn't much production to look back on, but you just saw a player who could, bloom into something, and look at what Arden is now. So next guy is Christopher Bodie. He plays defensive tackle at Liberty. Caden Salter just quote tweeted his portal entry and said, "Dog." Over the last 3 years, He's played the last 3 years at Liberty. Last year, 36 total tackles, half a sack, 1 forced fumble, 1 pass defense. He's listed at 6'1", 270 right now, but his recruiting page, which is he's a 2021 recruit, had him at 6'2", 283.
So there are a couple guys on this team who could vouch for him potentially.
Yeah.
Obviously, Caden and Preston.
I just thought it was interesting. He's somehow 13 pounds lighter playing defensive line after playing 3 years in college football.
That is interesting.
I don't know how accurate that is. Cornerbacks. Markevius Brown has entered the portal, former Purdue cornerback. He started his career at Ole Miss, played there from 21 to 22, entered the portal and joined Purdue ahead of 2023. Played in 12 games in 2023. Actually, over the last 2 years, he started 15 games with 16 appearances. I think he left the program, actually. Let me see this. He left the program after 4 games in the 2024 season, so probably took a red shirt or some reason. They didn't give a reason. Yeah, but that would line up with his eligibility, so he's in the portal. Last year, or at Purdue, 54 total tackles, 3 TFLs, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles, 9 passes defense, has yet to record an interception.
Is it possible that he was a target previously? His name sounds so familiar to me.
He was a 2023 recruit from IMG, or actually 2021 recruit. So,
But maybe like when he was entering the portal from his first school.
from Ole Miss to Purdue,
Yeah.
could have been, because that was 23. IMG kid though, listed at 6 foot and 175 pounds. Looking back on his 247 timeline here, I don't see anything on CU. But you never know. And I was thinking about this too when these portal entries came through. I think CU has such an advantage because over the last 2 years, they've obviously hit the portal so hard. And when you get these younger guys like Arden Walker, who played 1 year at his previous school and now he's at your program for 3 years, like you basically just have an extra scout. Like someone who saw what happened at Mizzou. Like you got these guys all over. Like look at where these guys have come from over the last 3 years who have been on this team for a minute. Obviously you got Preston and Caden, for Liberty and all this, but I just don't see many other programs with players recruiting like this because they don't have many players who have been all over the country. So
For sure.
anything else?
Did you see the college transfer portal tweeted that Trevor Woods is going to Texas?
I did.
And
Yes.
then Trevor Woods quote tweeted and said fake news.
Yes.
Sheesh.
Shout out to T Woods.
We saw him on Tuesday,
yesterday too.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Talk to him?
He's far away.
No, he was walking to
saw him
classes.
walking.
Yeah. All right. Chase says, RK, we're going to need those Masters betting insights today.
All right, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I really like Bryson, plus 1,700. And I also really like Joaquin Neiman.
You got a little sprinkle on both of those guys?
Yes. Also, tonight we have our annual, which is only the second year for me, but I think it's the 7th, Masters Calcutta, which every player goes up for auction, essentially. And people bid real money to get them on their team. And then all of the money from those bids goes into a pot and it gets distributed out based on like who wins and stuff. So
Okay.
very excited for that.
That's going to be fun.
My eyebrows asked if Destin Wade ever found a new team.
Man, it feels like, does it feel like more players than normal are stuck in the portal? I mean, it would make sense because just more players are in the portal or went into the portal.
Destin Wade has found a team. He's playing for North Alabama, the Lions.
Good for him.
Let's go.
But yeah, I think eventually we're kind of hitting a bubble, right? After so many players have entered over the last few years, I think teams are starting to realize, players are starting to realize, and
So are we due for a market correction then next year? Less players in the portal?
I think at some point, well, next year we're going to have this new, I almost put this in the show today, the how NCAA versus house settlement thing that's going right now, because we're still waiting for like an actual verdict on that, but that's going to set roster limits. It'll also set this like salary cap budget type thing. But one of the biggest points of contention is having that salary cap, but also keeping like boosters and NIL out of it so that you can't like cheat the roster cap basically. But there's like different states. Colorado has this law too. There's different states that have this law where college athletes have like an uncapped earning potential on their NIL funds. So there's a lot of this going on right now. But they're in trial trying to figure it all out to pay out these players basically.
Gee, that's just got to be terrifying just to be in the portal for 4 months now. And not even talking specifically about Trevor Woods, because there's thousands of cases like him out there right now.
Yep.
That's just, like I said, got to be terrifying. Make sure you know, make sure you got a plan and you know what you're doing before you make that jump.
I think it was you who we were talking about a player like breaking down and crying because it was like their last game, and you're like, man, I hate seeing that.
Because you basketball.
You can feel it. Yeah. It's crazy to think that like you enter the portal and you get stuck there. You don't even realize you were playing your last game before you did.
Yeah.
That's something that Coach Carl Reed has talked about. He has talked about it on Twitter a few times. Like, just be sure, because it could be your last jump.
Yep.
You might not get a destination X, and that's just a sad reality sometimes.
And that's what Coach Prime says too. I mean, he said it was Shellamai entered the portal. You know, you enter the portal because
better have a plan.
You know where you got to know where you're going, basically.
real.
So,
yeah, it's crazy, man. And a lot of these guys had roles and already had built up respect with the coaching staffs. And you go into the portal where you're a much less known commodity, and you know people don't know certain things about you, and they'd rather take, you know, potentially the player with the higher upside who is more athletic or whatever, than you know you who might have a different set of attributes.
sure. Hambadge says, seems odd that anyone would announce before portal or spring game. Why not continue to practice until you can move? Those guys are idle, I guess, and falling behind future teams too.
I agree with this. It's
For
just
sure.
never worked out that way. I mean, remember the original spring game? We barely had any defensive linemen because they all entered the portal like 2 days before the spring game.
Yep. That, I mean, it's kind of almost a catch-22, I guess. Like, if you want to leave and you want to get in the portal almost ASAP, though, because you want to be recruited, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't wait. This year we have an earlier spring game, but last year Colorado spring game was like the 28th. Portal closed the 30th. Like, if you wait till the 29th to enter the portal, like, the portal's already, all the other teams have already gone through and picking through it, basically.
True. Yeah. The other side of it, though, is like MLC goes out there in the first spring game, balls out, has over 100 yards and I think a couple touchdowns.
Yep.
And his stock in the portal went way up.
Yeah, true.
What's interesting looking back on that, though, is like we talked about at the time, well, there's all these guys coming in and maybe he's not going to have as much of a role. He didn't really have that much of a role at Arizona.
I know.
And he had already built up a great rapport with Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
I would say he probably would have been better off staying.
Yep. Probably could have used him too, especially hindsight when
real.
Travis got hurt. Like,
Yeah, true.
you know?
Want to smack overtime real quick?
Yeah, we're heading to overtime. If you're watching us on your television, head on over to thednvr.com. We're going to wrap up the show over there.
My mouse is dead, so if you want to reach Shelly's,
Shelly says, do we have a tight end? Yes, we hope so. And Zach Atkins.
Zach Atkins.
I think it was more like a, do we finally have a tight end type of thing?
My answer is
We
still
could.
yes.
Yeah.
Zach
could.
Atkins. Hell yeah. I believe in that guy.
I mean, Juju's going under center. Like, I don't think you do all that stuff if you don't have a tight end. So
Facts. And I think also, you know, the under center stuff shows a real commitment to running the ball.
Yep.
Anyone can run the ball out of the shotgun as kind of just to show it.
Yep.
But if you're serious about running the ball, you're willing to get down under center.
East Coast Kev says, you hate to see players eaten by the transfer portal monster, but we must remember what the portal taketh, it also giveth back, next man up. I'm actually really proud of the fan base. I think we finally moved on from portal freakout. Like, we've realized that we're kind of making room in a way. Like, we're just recruiting more kids to come in. It's Coach Prime.
Yeah.
Kids are going to want to come play here.
It's golf balls.
The golf balls, yes, sir.
The golf balls made an impact.
They did.
I think part of the freak out too, and I think it's what Kev kind of alluded to there. It's like even when you do lose somebody like an Isaiah Augusta potentially, who is a good, productive player, this coaching staff, Coach Prime, Coach Phillips, Coach Box, the rest of the recruiting staff have built up enough rapport and confidence in the fan base. It's like even if we lose a guy, we gonna get one of them back. It might not even be at that position, but we gonna get some talented guys back in the portal. And I'm really excited next week to see who ends up coming on visits and who ends up committing out of the portal to see you.
Yeah, this time next week, we're right in the thick of it pretty much.
Yep.
DJ Flame U says, what's up, gents? F them Chiefs. Jake, I love how you are unapologetically you, weird takes and all. Thank you. RK, we appreciate your Toyota. Scott, get your girl. She out here thirst trapping.
So
Now,
over the weekend, I get a follow request from DJ Flame on Instagram. I'm like, okay, well, I got DJ Flame. I'm gonna rock with him. Hit confirm, follow my boy back. Probably not even 24 hours later, I get a direct message from DJ Flame on Instagram, and it's him sending me a post from Roxy of her doing, You know how when we doing like the get ready with me?
yeah.
It was Roxy doing the get ready with me, and she was looking good, how she always does or whatever. And this man DJ Flame talking about some, man, you need to get your girl.
Oh my God.
I'm like, yeah, man, she's showing y'all too much. 2 days later, yesterday, he sends me another post from Roxy.
Might as well just have her post
like,
on
man,
there.
like, man, you gotta get your girl. Like, man, leave me alone, man. She grown. She know where home at though. It's okay. We not tripping about social media.
Insane. Don Peasy with the super chat. I wonder how much pride plays a factor in these players not going to G5 or lower level of play.
A lot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot.
And it's a lot of work, not always, but you go G5 or lower, especially lower, the scholarships are very different. You know, it's some guys might not be able to afford to go down to a lower level like that because they might have to pay for a portion of their school. John says, RK, I might be able to help you with that buff shirt you want. Hit me up. I'm very interested.
Got you.
Or tell me how to hit you up.
Anything else today, y'all?
That's a good question, girls club. It's a good question.
Depends on the first slide.
Yeah, what's the thumbnail?
He trying to get me all riled up.
Chill.
Wait. Wayne says, Scotty, what are you going to do if Roxy cooks a meatloaf?
She would never. They would never.
I have been noticing, you know, Scotty, 4 o'clock rolls around. He's like, I got to get out of here. I'm like, now, where is he going?
That rarely happens, bro. That rarely happens.
Well, we're back at practice tomorrow. So we'll have clips from players.
What do you think of that thumbnail for they get ready with me? Borderline.
Local man wishes not to speak.
Oh man.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. I do not play COD. I've retired from COD.
You still playing
Playing Schedule 1, baby.
Nice.
That's great.
Schedule 1, bro. No, I gotta play Motorsport Manager right now too. That game's frustrating, but
Is that why you
much
put
it.
on the jersey today?
no, Max is just the GOAT. All-time weekend from him this last weekend, by the way.
Really?
Yes. He's got the third fastest car, pull out of nowhere, and then led from the front the entire race, won it, with the 2 McLarens chasing him.
Wow.
He's reaching GOAT territory. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. See you.
We all silly like the mayor.